Hey gang, Kevin, Life22. I've been cutting down on my alcohol consumption as of late. Oop, it's springtime. Um, what I got going on is I've actually been really cutting down to the point that like I'll have a couple of beers and now I'm just roasty. Um, but there's a particular alderman that I've butted heads with. I'm sure like me and her have never gotten along on the same pages. Uh, but I'll be nice about it. Like, we don't get along and we're cordial. I think is probably the proper term for it. She calls me the other day. I don't know if anybody else has been in college and you get that call from that college girlfriend. Hey, listen, my significant other has been tested for disease. Now, I've checked with a few attorneys, and this allows this to not be privileged because there's no spousal privilege, there's no attorney-client privilege with me and this other alderman. There's just four different privileges. Pastoral privilege and spousal privilege. So, those are the four different privileges, and none of which applies to one alderman to another. And she called me the other day to let me know that her husband had been infected with COVID-19. And I'm going to read. So the Cattaraugus County Health Department was notified of 2 additional confirmed cases of COVID-19 residents within Cattaraugus County. The department's active positive COVID caseload is now 14, as there are 53 residents who have recovered from COVID-19. So I'm going to skip this next paragraph, but it's the 17th confirmed case is a female resident, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to skip that paragraph. The 71st confirmed case is a male. This is the important part of my conjecture. The 71st confirmed case is a male who resides resident who resides in the southeast quadrant of the county, who is a healthcare worker in Olean, who reported being in contact with COVID-19 positive patients. He developed fever, cough, and antibodies. Now, bear in mind, the previous paragraph discusses that the other person was asymptomatic, where they're not showing any symptoms. This one, by chance, developed cough, fever, body aches, and was tested on June 1st, which was Monday. And on June 2nd, his test results revealed that he was positive for the virus. According to said alderman that I talked to, that we don't get along, and normally I would not blow shit up. But and I'm probably one of the least concerned people based on social media that you will believe to be concerned about this, but the fact that up at the upper right hand corner, so let's if you're staring at the document, which you can find on the Cattaraugus County Health Department website, is the upper right hand corner. It says Gilbert N. Witt, MD, Medical Director, which means that they released this June 3rd for immediate press release. They were aware of it, thinking that the person who is in the upper right-hand corner was the person in the third paragraph, as number 71, would have found out on Tuesday, June 2nd, prior to his wife coming to a council meeting on June 3rd, would have been aware of it. Now, had you been any other adult, you would have been aware of it on June 3rd, after a council meeting, when you called me, Linda. When you called me in the middle of the afternoon on the 3rd, which is a Wednesday, and had you been at the council meeting the night before, It's one thing to be oblivious to all of it, like right, I like to be, right? Like I don't ask any of my clients that I talk to get tested on a regular basis. But your husband works in the healthcare field. Your husband works in the healthcare field. He gets tested because he's showing symptoms. He's showing symptoms on Monday, and then you show up to the goddamn council meeting on Tuesday. He's already tested, and apparently sometime between 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m., he's discovered to have had it. And then the next day you call me to tell me that you have it, that he's had it. Begs the question on why I'm hearing rumors from other councilmen that you've also called. Now, this is hearsay, right? Like, in a court of law, this means nothing. But because you called me, there's no spousal privilege. There's none of that. There's no HIPAA laws or anything. But other councilmen who you have no HIPAA law with either, but it means nothing in a court of law because you've it's hearsay. But regardless, you've called them to tell them that the health department will be reaching out to them because you've been in close proximity to them and them only, which all happen to be Democrats, which is hilarious, which I'm not a party line guy. You had the common decency to call me to tell me that your husband was tested positive for COVID-19, which is fine, right? Like, everybody could get it, right? Anybody could get it. And during said meeting, you were talking about delivering, and the meeting should be posted now. If it isn't already, it will be posted shortly. Processing, it's 2.5 hours of 360 footage. But you were boasting how Phase 2 exists because because Phase 2 exists, you will be allowed to deliver Meals on Wheels to seniors. And you at this point, I already realize now, after the fact, that you are aware your husband had COVID-19. You don't think sure as shit you're wearing your mask? Like, listen, they tell you, oh, you can wear a mask within 6 feet. It diminishes it, but it does not stop it. So listen, if you're going to tell me that, like, if I was a common thinking adult with common sense, I would say, listen, my husband hasn't. I'm going to self-quarantine. I'm not going to show up to that council meeting tonight. I'm going to self-isolate. But no, you sit there and you go out to the rest of us. You give it to us because from what the other aldermen are saying, you've tested positive. And I'm sure there's going to be a similar like document with your husband's name in the upper left-hand corner tomorrow for patient 72. Or 73, just based on how many people live in your household. But regardless, this shit pisses me off because you're the one the entire time wearing a goddamn mask, and I'm the one sitting there without it. And I'm not the least bit concerned because about the fact that I'm not wearing a mask because I'm not the one sharing it. You're the one who shows up to the meetings that you insisted upon having. Just checking on my time. The meetings that you insisted upon having, not close quarters. You wanted to have an online meeting of the Common Council. And this is what really pisses me off. You wanted to have an online meeting of the Common Council, and I have no problem because I have a podcasting studio. So whatever. But there's other aldermen out there that don't do that, can't have that, blah, blah, blah. And they did it. And you still showed up in person wearing a mask below your nose. And like that just, like, it's just the whole nine. It's the existential inability of, like, common sense, right? Like, I'm not a nurse, like certain people are, but it's ridiculous that you would think, like, listen, I'm the fucking cowboy, right? Like, I'm the goddamn cowboy that says, listen, you guys, boom, 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 boom. Like, you don't have to listen to me because I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pathologist. I'm not a pulmonologist. I'm nothing. But compared to you who shows up wearing a mask every time, blah, 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 the mask means everything. Well, yeah, the mask does mean everything, but common sense does too. And you showed up knowing your husband was symptomatic and was tested. And then and apparently that night, before midnight, or the very next day, and then you took till 1 o'clock in the afternoon to call me that your husband had it. You didn't think you were going to test positive? You live in the goddamn same house. Don't be... Who do you think I am? Everybody always accuses me of using the R word, right? But like, who are you? Like, what do you think I am? Like, this is ridiculous that you would think that that's my biggest theory, is that like people turned to the government and said, we need an answer to protect ourselves from being I need an answer, government. I need an answer. The government's got to answer all my questions. They have to answer every problem I have. This thing is going to come through and it's going to kill me and my family and blah, blah, blah. And people turn to the government and the government says, chewing gum. No, they didn't say chewing gum. They said 5 out of 5 doctors say you need to wear a mask. Just like chewing gum. 9 out of 10 dentists approve chewing gum, or this chewing gum or that chewing gum. And who knows whose payroll who's on. 5 out of 5 doctors say that you should wear a mask, and the government turns to you and says you need to wear a mask because it'll save you, because the government also wants to be able to give you a reply. And the government's reply is, wear a mask and you'll be safe. And then you follow that blindly, but you're a nurse, so you know that following that guideline is only so effective. And then you already know that your husband is showing symptoms, and at this point, they could have been tested. They are tested. Do you know the results of the test? Maybe, maybe not, but that's bullshit that you think that you should have shown up to that meeting, because now, 2 days later, you're testing positive. HIPAA approved. 2 other aldermen told me this. So now I can't confirm or deny that you have tested positive. But guess what? Guess what people think? 2 other aldermen call me, tell me that you tested positive for COVID-19. Guess who tested positive for COVID-19? Because, like, it doesn't take rocket scientists to prove, and HIPAA won't get it out of you at this point, but HIPAA will protect you from revealing what has happened, but you've already revealed the first part of the story, and that the guy in the upper left-hand corner is number 71. So are you 72, 73? You might as well come forward. Let us all know, because that's ridiculous. And the fact that I didn't hear it from you tonight, you know why? Because I heard it from 3 other aldermen in a roundabout way. And you know what's funny? Is you only had to make 2 phone calls. And all the 3 aldermen that you were in contact that night happened to be Democrats, and you didn't have the audacity to call anybody else. It looks like a conspiracy. Like, it sounds bad, Linda, and you really just need to come out and just tell everybody what's going on, and like, why you even thought, I mean, I know it's an election year, but shit, Linda, it's COVID-19, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal, except for the fact that America's made it a big deal. And you're the one that's been toting that it's a huge deal the entire goddamn time. And so, like, it doesn't matter if I don't think it's a big deal. You didn't think it was a big enough fucking deal to tell anybody that your husband had been tested for it or showing symptoms since Monday, the day before. I don't know what to say. Like, listen, because if I have it, I already have it. Like, my family already has it. Like, that's just blood, sweat, and tears on top of, like, what, like, you know, we're a family over here at my house. Like, it's, like, if I've got it, my family's got it. So, like, congratulations. Like, hope we didn't see you at the riots and the protests and whatever else we were expecting in the city that would have transmitted it. But sure, you probably made an appearance for that too, because God forbid you miss an election year to spread COVID. Like, holy fuck. Somebody told me what was going on. Somebody, like, I got these calls and I'm like, it's already having a rough day. So I had a couple beers. And then I hear about all this shit and I start putting it together. I don't even have a theme for June yet. And I'm like, just, I don't think COVID's going to affect my family like it does other people, because we're a nice, young family. And if it does, you know what? Hey, guess what? All the Twitter monsters out there are going to be right. You know, give me COVID or give me death. And they'll be right and whatever. Fuck them. But the fact that, like, you just gallivant around pretending like COVID ain't a real like COVID's a real thing, and you have your mask around your fucking neck. You have your mask around right below your nose, just covering your mouth only. Like, and I still think that that's bullshit. Like, you wear a mask, you shouldn't come in within 20 feet of somebody. Or if you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. Like, that's me. But the fact that you've been telling everybody that you believe that this 100% is a mask issue, and you're not wearing a mask and not giving a shit and not having common sense, or you wear the mask in front of everybody and then you take it off when the fucking cameras are down, and you don't give two fucks when somebody, like, it just, like, it's common sense. It's common sense, Linda. Like, you either believe in the mask, you don't believe in the mask, because if you don't believe in the masks, if you do believe in the mask, you don't sit there and walk into a room with people knowing that you have it, or you could have it, or your husband just got tested for it, and you say, listen, I'm going to use the common sense enough to not come to a goddamn council meeting, even though it's a goddamn election year. Fuck you, I'm out.